Hello and welcome to History Bluffs, the game show where truth is stranger than fiction. Want to welcome to the show your host, Alan.
Hello! Hello, you the listener. Welcome to History Bluffs. I am Alan, and who you heard just a moment ago was our Tech Adam. How are you, Tech Adam?
I'm doing great, Alan.
Great.
Good to be here.
Adam, I'm going to need your help to bring up the rules for the game so that everyone watching on YouTube right now can see what they are. And for those of you listening on iTunes and our variety of other platforms, please take a listen to how I describe what the rules are. There are 2 minutes for research, and the researchers can take notes. And they have to be completely a lie, although it's mainly the premise that's going to be a lie. Other historical facts will probably be true, you know, like we're the third planet of the sun, etc., whatever. Or completely tell the truth. That much is obvious. If it's a truth, you can't lie during the truth. Sorry. And then we also cannot use you, the audience, you listener. We cannot use you for help. And that's it. That's the gist of the rules.
All right,
so
those are some good rules.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you.
It's a game show. We're going to play.
This is a game to play, and we don't like cheaters because cheaters never prosper, okay? So, without further ado, let's bring up our panelists. Shall we, Adam?
All right, let's do it.
All right, well, we've got, there we go. We've got Charlie, we've got Gina, and we've got Chris. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Alan, what's up?
Not much. Well, I'm going to just I'm going to keep it brief. I want to kind of jump into it, and I'm going to give you your topic for the day. You guys ready for your topic of the day? Topic of the day is the word hollow. Hollow. So all three of our armchair historians are going to interpret that the way they want to interpret the word hollow, and they're going to come up with two of them are going to come up with some historical facts inspired by the word hollow, and one of them is going to come up with a bluff. That person is... That's right. Thank you, canned audience. You figured it out. That is the title of the show, History Bluffs, and that one person lying is our history bluff. And when you guys are ready, just give me the thumbs up. We've got no thumbs. Oh, we got several thumbs up. We've got 3, and yet Chris never did. Okay, there we go.
5 thumbs. I saw 5
All
thumbs,
right.
Alan.
I love it. 5 is better than 3. Excellent. So, you know what we're going to do? Adam, I think we got to start with our first round, whatever that's called.
Oh, my God. Alan, we're going to start out with round 1.
Who knew? Who knew that was your first round?
That's where we start.
Okay, well, that's news to me. So, Gina, traditionally,
Yes.
ladies first. We're gonna go with you as our armchair historian for the word hollow.
Oh, okay, great.
We're giving you
great.
a total of, I believe, 75 seconds in round 1. Is that correct, Tech Adam?
That's correct. 75 seconds is the time you have for round 1 to tell your story.
That's 75 seconds. Gina begins with the cannon.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Italian. We all know that from many episodes. And I take you back to actually very close to my my ancestors in Italy, to the town of Pompeii. Pompeii is located, you may or may not know this part, but it's located between Mount Vesuvius and the Gulf of Naples. It's about 2 miles in area, 2 square miles. And a long time ago in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, and it actually flowed down into the town. They were unprepared, and 11,000 people, that was the approximate population then, 11,000 people perished, some of whom perished in their actual positions that they were in when the molten lava hit them, and they were petrified. Very sad story, but the hollow reminded me of excavation, and I looked up a lot of interesting, cool things about the excavation in Pompeii. The ruins were discovered by people that are related to me, the Bourbon dynasty over in Naples, and they were the ruins were discovered in the mid 1700s, and some of the things that they excavated were mansions and bathhouses and all kinds of beautiful architecture. And I'll tell you more about what else they found later.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, Chris, do you have anything to comment on Gina's recounting of Pompeii?
I do indeed. I love that story about the excavation and everything, but my antenna went up when she said the Bourbon Dynasty. I'm like, wait, are they from Naples or Kentucky?
Bourbon in Italy? Methinks maybe. Charlie, what's your take?
Mine is the exact same thing as Chris's, because Gina knows that I drink bourbon on these shows, so like it really wasn't that hard to come up with. I mean, really.
But Charlie, my question for you is: did you know my family is the Bourbons? Like, did you know that?
I don't even think that's true. Why do we think that's true? She's really Kentucky, and she just doesn't understand.
That's right, y'all.
Well, as I said earlier, historical facts will be historical facts, but the premise must be false in the historical bluff. Many of us know about Pompeii, and we know that there was a volcano somewhere, so that much must be true. But the other stuff, I don't know. Okay. But anyway, I think it's time for another armchair historian to tell their story. Chris, we're going to give you the center square. Okay. And Chris, you are going to be inspired by the word hollow with the cannon shot. You ready, Chris?
I am ready. Okay. So my inspiration from the word hollow was the legend of Sleepy Hollow, the age-old tale of Ichabod Crane. It was written by a gentleman named Washington Irving, and I'm going to tell you that the legend of Sleepy Hollow, much of it and much of the characters, actually true, and I'll get to how that breaks down. But for those of you not familiar with the story, the legend of Sleepy Hollow goes that there's a town up in near Westchester, New York, called Sleepy Hollow, and it was an area, kind of a no man's land during the American Revolution, where the Americans had pulled back up to Peekskill, New York, and the British were a little bit south of that, and there was about a 30-mile stretch in there where there was this kind of no man's land, and that's where Sleepy Hollow is. And there's the legend of Sleepy Hollow. It talks about a guy named Ichabod Crane who was wooing this countess, and he was pursued by the Headless Horseman. Well, in my round two, I will tell you that Sleepy Hollow, the Stealth Village, is true. Ichabod Crane is real. The countess is real, and the Headless Horseman is real.
What? Wow.
Man.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Chris, what's your I'm sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think about that, Chris?
What do you think about
everything
that,
that was just said is true.
Okay. Charlie, what is your take on that?
I was waiting for him to say, and then this whole story is false. But he never did. So I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. It's too early to tell. I don't know. I always thought no man's land was a phrase that came out during World War I, as seen in Wonder Woman #1, the movie. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he's got what it takes, I guess.
Well, Gina, maybe you have a take on this recounting of the legend of Sleepy Hollow.
I so want him to do a list at the end and then say exactly what Charlie said if he is lying. However, my family is from Westchester, and the family
wait,
America, the Italian Americans, and so I don't know. We did go visit a town. Did not have the same name, but it's very much of what he's saying is so far reading for me. So it scans, but I'm gonna hold off making judgment until the next round. Or thereafter.
Okay. Well, it's all interesting so far. Pompeii. I have a recollection of Pompeii. I have a recollection of Washington Irving and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow just from the Disney cartoon. So we got to move on to Charlie. Charlie, you've got your work cut out for you here.
Yeah, it's a good thing I found
ready?
a much more true story than both of those people.
Okay, good. Charlie, you get to start your 75 seconds at the cannon shot.
Okay, You've heard of donut holes, right? And most people. Okay, so hollow. I was trying to figure out stuff. It also hollow means to have a hole in it. And so what was the first thing I thought of that had holes in them? Donuts. Donuts have donut holes, right? But I did some research, and technically, the donut hole came first. Okay, the donut hole was invented in 1827 in Pennsylvania by a man named Yoder Glatzfelder. Okay, he was a Mennonite, which is technically not an Amish person, but most lay people group them together because they don't understand the differences. He was making corn fritters, but substituted flour for the cornmeal in his fritters, and so he made them, and then they were tasting a little weird. He rolled them in powdered sugar, and they were just so tasty that all the as Weird Al would say, omlins, all the kids really were drawn to these balls of sugary flour, and they just really liked them a lot. And I'll tell you more later.
Wow. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because I have, in fact, eaten donut holes, so I can vouch for their existence as well. We've got 3 lies dipped in truth, or 3 truths that are just slightly a lie. I don't know what. Gina, what's your take here?
Well, my family they're from Italy, and they moved to New York. And from one of the recipes from Italy, all the way that made it to New York, that I still know today, it sucks. It's very hard to make, but it's called Zaples, and what those essentially are is what Charlie described. So I don't know. I'm so confused.
Wow,
this is crazy. So I reserve judgment until next round.
So Gina's not even sold at this point. Interesting.
No.
Chris, what's your take?
My take is that Charlie's story is so hollow, it's Swiss cheese. There's holes all over it. I mean, come on. That the donut holes were created first before the donuts. That's like saying, that's basically it's a chicken and the egg story. It's like, but how do you have a donut hole if you don't have the donuts first? And then the kids were drawn to the corn fritters. I don't think so. If you gave them a choice of donuts or corn fritters, kids are gonna take donuts.
That's what I said in the story. I don't know.
You must be confirming your story, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds perfect to me.
Okay, well, that's the end of round 1. So whatever comes after round 1, Adam, I'm at a loss.
After round 1, we're jumping straight into round 2.
Well, thank you for that reminder, Adam. And I think we're going to start off round 2 with a revisit to our friends in upstate New York with Chris and his details on the truth about the legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yes.
And don't forget, Alan, the time is even shorter in round 2.
That's right. Now you get, 60 seconds?
60 seconds.
Okay, you get 1 minute starting now.
All right. So, the real characters of the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. The town itself is a real character. It really is a Sleepy Hollow in New York. It's near Tarrytown, and it is indeed where the British and American lines had been near each other. But most importantly, Washington Irving, when he was actually an aide-de-camp to New York governor at the time, and he met an army captain named Ichabod Crane. There was a real guy named Ichabod Crane. And in the story, Ichabod Crane is pursuing the Countess, and her name is Katrina von Tassel. Well, lo and behold, there really is a Katrina von Tassel. The Katrina von Tassel, that she was a young woman. Irving had stayed with their family for a short time, and he asked permission to use her name because he liked to use loosely based characters off of real people. So he told them that he was going to do that. And in my round 3, my wrap up, I will tell you that the Headless Horseman was based on a real character.
Oh, a Headless Horseman based on a real character. Is that even possible, Gina?
No, I don't know. I got hung up on Katrina von Tassel. She sounds more like a burlesque dancer than a countess. I got stuck there, and I reserve judgment for round 3.
Okay. Well, Charlie, what's your take?
I feel like he's teasing the Headless Horseman a little too much. We've ended both rounds with the Headless Horseman, and so I think his first line of the next thing will be, and the Headless Horseman wasn't real. And I know I didn't say Headless Horseman, but like it just, somehow he always seems to end up not telling us about the Headless Horseman. So I might have had a little too much of Gina's family drink. So I'm slurring my words just a little.
Well, Charlie, while you're still semi-sober, we're going to give you your shot at round 2 with your description of donut holes, and your 1 minute starts now.
Okay. So Yoder started selling them at a local stand that was at the Lancaster Market next to like produce and other sewn goods and a lot of things that were sold to outsiders of the Mennonite community and the Amish community. And one day he was visited by a man from New York City named Hanson Gregory. And Hanson Gregory was a guy who really, really loved bagels. But he saw Yoder's donut balls and was like, I think these are really tasty. And so he then went on to create donuts in the shape of bagels out of the donut holes that he had found at this Lancaster Market. And so that's where he found it, and then he went to back to New York City, and he created the donut, and that's why he's known as the guy who created donuts.
Interesting. Chris, were you interested? What's the validity of this story?
All right. Well, being from New York myself, I will wager that no self-respecting New Yorker is going to change bagels into donuts. As delicious as donuts are, bagels in New York they rule the roost when it comes to that kind of stuff. But and then I was also drawn to some of Charlie's names, the names that he's dropping. Yoder, or was it Yoda? And then Hanson Gregory, or was it Hansel and Gretel making cookies? I was waiting for him to say that Hanson Gregory got into the oven because the witch had tricked him.
Interesting. Sounds like there's some fairy tale to this tale. Gina, what's your opinion?
See, I thought it was also a real sounding character, and I thought it was one of the Hanson brothers. So, and then I was like thinking, Bop. That's good. Like, you could name a donut Bop, and it'll probably sell pretty well. That would be good because they're yummy. I don't know. I'm confused, and I reserve my judgment for round 3.
All right, that's fair. Well, it's still round 2, and it's your turn, Gina, to tell us a little bit more about your take on what may or may not have happened in Pompeii.
Okay. When would you like me to go?
There.
Okay. My family sorry. Can I start over?
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Adam,
all right, Adam, can we restart the clock?
My apologies.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Yeah, thank you, my friend.
Timer
I
is
apologize.
going away.
Okay, and...
Hold on, wait. Okay, the boom has been retracted.
Did you reverse the boom?
Yes,
that was
I did.
pretty awesome.
Amazing.
Now let's spit the boom back out.
Boom comes now.
Okay, the quote from the architects that were doing the excavating said they had gotten to a place that was like they excavated this mansion. And the mansion, I found this really cool, was owned by a guy named Lucius Celsus. And so that was where they stopped. And when they stopped, they had land on the other side that they believed to have been buried in the ruins as well. But the architect said the remainder should be left for the others, which I think is really the way of saying we're too lazy to get beyond this. We've already gotten to this mansion and we're done. But so they did stop there. And what ended up happening is the mansion pushed this way, the ruins pushed this way, and it formed something that goes straight up. It's like kind of, they called it an escarpment. And that was made of pretty much of the molten lava that had occurred from the explosion. And so what happened is over the years, that thing started to crumble. And what it would have done is it would have wiped out the city on the other, the mansion and Pompeii on one side, and the city that had built itself up over the ruins on the other side. So new architects started to want to fix that. And I'll tell you more later.
Okay, Charlie, what's your take? Was that mansion or that terminology real?
I I fell asleep. I don't even
Wow.
understand. I don't know what Gina's telling us. What is the story? Like, what am I supposed to, am I supposed to, like, determine whether or not she made up the word escarpment? It's in a Bare Naked Ladies song, so I don't think she did. But is that like, I'm lost. I'm very lost.
Please reserve your judgment until round 3.
Well, I don't know how Bare Naked Ladies use that term in their song. Chris, what do you think?
Well, Gina, unfortunately, will not reserve my judgment now because I think, like Charlie's story, you have holes all over yours. And I understand architects back then probably were not well paid, so it's feasible that architects are doing archaeology on the side. You mentioned a guy that sounds an awful lot like Lex Luthor, and then you started describing shifting tectonic plates rubbing up against each other. So this whole thing is a little quaky to me.
Yes, like an earthquake. Oh, that was good, Chris. Can I ask a question? Did I say architects? I meant archaeologists. Sorry.
All right,
jeez.
we'll allow it.
Does that change anything, Chris?
We'll allow it.
Did she just object to something she said herself? I mean,
And I believe everything.
Okay, good. See, we're back on track.
completely okay now.
Authentic Gina.
Okay, well, speaking of okay, I think we're okay to move on from round 2, Adam.
Oh, wow. That means after round 2 becomes the one round where we find out who, in fact, is a shoebox full of lies. It's round 3.
Wow, that was a deep Bare Naked Ladies
It
cut.
really was.
Thank
I was like, Adam the tech. Nice.
You know who was supposed to star in Shoebox of Lies, the video?
Hansel Gretel?
The actors from Friends. It was on the Friends soundtrack, and they were supposed to be in it. And at the last minute, they're like, "No, we don't have to do this. I'm dating Brad Pitt. Why would I be in this video?"
We're learning a lot of history tonight. And don't forget, Alan, in round 3, we have even less time. The round 3 times are only 45 seconds to finish their stories.
Wow, you heard it. You got to scratch off some of those notes, fit them within 45 seconds. Charlie, are you ready for 45 seconds of info?
And in round 3, we have to watch out for the temple guards, or else we'll be dragged away, and we have
true.
to use the pendant to save us.
That's a different game show.
Oh, darn.
Sorry.
Maybe the Pompeians thought that would have been a good idea to
Yeah.
ward that little volcano off.
Charlie, we're going to have your round 3 start with the cannon shot right about now.
I mean, what else is there to say? I've already described everything else. All I want to say is that Dunkin' Donuts makes munchkins, and while they're never going to tell you this, it's in honor of Yoder, because technically the donut hole came first. And done.
Wow, you yield the remainder of your time, Charlie. Well done. He was right. He had information that came within 45 seconds. Fantastic. Gina, what's your take on that?
I'd like the rest of his time. That's
Gina
may or
can
may
have
not
the
get it.
rest of my time. I'm okay with that.
I love that. I was like, well, I'm gonna wait till round 3 to reserve judgment, and then he starts round 3 with, what else is there to say? To which that helps me in no way, Charlie. That is so not helpful. So Chris, we gotta go to Chris, because I gotta
Chris,
think about that.
what's your opinion here?
I'm just writing some stuff down that Charlie just said, and I'm going to share it with you. Here's my opinion. Because Dunkin' Donuts makes munchkins, they did it in honor of Yoder. Come on, I'm just calling BS on this.
This is
Another
awesome.
Yoda reference? Is that what we're hearing?
Yes, Yoda is short, and Munchkins and the Wizard of Oz are short. Come on, he's grasping at straws here, and it's like this is all made up. Charlie, as many holes as Gina has, I'm already declaring I think Charlie's the bluff.
Oh, he's thrown the flag.
Oh, the
He's
flag
thrown the
is
flag.
thrown.
Okay.
I think Gina was
But I
a little
reserve
too
the right
happy about that.
to change my mind.
Gina's a little too happy about it that she thinks she's off the hook now. So I would,
I
yeah.
reserve the right to change my mind after Gina's story.
Okay.
Well, speaking of Gina's story, I think Gina gets to have her shot at round 3. And Gina, we won't even come down on you if you go over time. You ready?
Okay. Yes, I am.
All right, your time starts now.
Okay, right beyond Lucius's mansion, there was this street called the Silver Street right before that escarpment, and so that's where they started to redig. And this was in 2018, so it was right before COVID. The reason that's important will come into play later, but the new archaeologists were trying to dig, and they felt like digging may interrupt some environmental things and perhaps even hurt the city next to it. So that they said it was irresponsible to continue digging until they found a snack bar down below. The reason that's important is because they'd never found any evidence of any hot food being served in Pompeii. The reason that's important is because it was illegal to serve hot food. I am going to go over time, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this was in a sort of derelict part of town. It was a part of town that had a lot of brothels. That was sort of like an OBT of the Pompeii world. And so they had, and this is going to sound horrible, but they had peonies written all over the wall. That's the plural for penis. They had a lot of those, and it was just like this part of town that had a lot of graffiti and things like that. And so it stands to reason that this concession stand, served hot food, and that was illegal, and that's why they wanted to dig it up. And that was one of the things they discovered in the 2018 excavation of Pompeii.
Oh my
never
goodness!
Been discovered
Gina
before.
taking full advantage of Charlie's remaining 25 seconds. And Chris, what's your take on that?
Okay, so a bunch of stuff here. She referenced a street that sounded an awful lot like the Magnificent Mile in Chicago, and a snack bar in Pompeii. It's like, hey, there's hot food. They were selling hot food at a snack bar in Pompeii. Oh my God!
It's called a thermopolis.
Oh, come on.
Okay, I'm going to reserve my further comments until voting.
Okay. Well, Charlie, what's your take on the hot snack bar? Was there?
Well,
a
I got
food
two.
court?
I got two
Go
takes.
ahead.
I got two takes.
Go.
One is, why do these archaeologists keep going? No, that's okay. We're good. We're good. We're. I've studied my entire life, but this looks a little hard, so I'm not going to do it anymore. That's number one. And two is, for some reason, the one thing I know about Pompeii is that there are a lot of fallacies around. But I also feel like that's a fact that Gina would probably, for some reason, really appreciate. And so she probably already knew it. So that's probably why she's worked it back into the story. So it sounds real.
Wow.
I would just like to say you're actually accurate, because when I visited Pompeii in the 90s, I really did notice that. I was like, there are a lot of peonies here. There were a lot, in the frescoes, kind of lining the buildings and things. There really were. Anyway, it's turned into a different show. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your lights off at home, bring the music up, and sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hey, this is where the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the bed, I think it's time to get a little bit sleepy in Sleepy Hollow
Oh, okay.
with Chris.
That's awesome.
Good try on that transition, Alan.
Fantastic.
Well done, Alan. Well done.
Played well.
Chris, your remaining 45 seconds starts now.
All right, folks, get ready for your mind to be blown. Specifically, the head being blown off of a Hessian soldier by a cannonball during the Revolutionary War. This is the inspiration for the Headless Horseman. Was a real person. He was a Hessian soldier. He was decapitated as he was charging forward against the Americans. And he was decapitated by a cannonball during the Battle of White Plains. And it happened around Halloween in 1776. And that is how he based this story off of that true thing. And also, the body was actually found by the Van Tassel family and buried in an unmarked grave in Sleepy Hollow, hence the legend.
Wow.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay. So the legend is based on some fact. Charlie, what's? Oh wait, Gina's got her hand up. Gina, would you like to go first?
Well, no. I just have a question actually. So I understand that the blowing off of the head and all the things. How is that related to the guy, Ichabod Crane?
Because he's the one that was chasing him. Didn't you hear the story at the beginning of the thing?
Oh, the cannonball guy when he died chased. Okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah, he
That's
had
what
no
it was
head.
based on. Thank you. I
Guy
just
had
need to
no
clarify.
head, and he rode on a horse.
Headless horseman.
Fair. Thank you.
Gina, would you like a rebuttal now that you have all the facts?
Oh no, I have no rebuttal. I'm still
Nothing.
trying to figure out well, if I'm not the liar, I'm trying to figure out which one of those two are.
Still not
So-
sold, Gina. Okay,
Not at
fine.
all.
Charlie, what's your take?
I just like to note that Gina said, "If I'm not the liar," I'm just bizarre. Anyways, yeah, I have two questions yet again for Chris. The first is, where are the pumpkins? Because at no point has he referenced the pumpkins. And two is, Chris is famous on this podcast for trying to call out people's bluffs because they're related to movies. And, well, I mean, like, of all of the movies we've seen, I mean, it's even starring Christopher Walken. I mean, like, as a Hessian. Yeah, so, I mean, like, is he just saying the movie script? I mean, really.
Interesting.
I
Okay,
don't know
well.
what a Hessian is. I don't know what a Hessian
It's
is.
a German like soldier.
thank
They
you.
were
Okay.
often bought by they fought as mercenaries in the Revolutionary War.
Oh, a hired
thank you.
gun.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting. All right.
Right.
Well, that was round 3. So before we go into the reveal, armchair historians, who do you think done it?
Oh,
Gina, you still aren't sold. You want to wait for last?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Chris, who do you think is the bluff?
Boy, this is a tough one because there's so many holes in both of their stories. I, was really intrigued by Gina describing her Kentucky-based family doing things with Lex Luthor and archaeologists, architects moonlighting as archaeologists. But I'm going to have to I'm going to go with Charlie because Dunkin' Donuts and the Munchkins, it all tied up too neatly. I'm going with Charlie.
Speaking of Charlie, who do you think is not factual?
It's tough. The phalluses are the one fact that I know for true for Gina. So like, I kind of have to go with Chris just based on like knowledge of the world. You know what I mean? Like, and it hurts. It hurts me to say that, but like, I think Chris is lying because Gina is obsessed with phalluses.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Gina, you've heard everyone else talk about you and your love of the male anatomy. What's
Well,
your
I
take?
love all anatomy, just for the record. It's beautiful. The body parts are beautiful. So anyway, I would like to say that's a really tough one. I'm gonna vote for me. Just to balance the voting out.
It's a switcheroo. Never been done before.
No, I'm gonna vote for Charlie. You wanna know why? Because in the last show we ganged up on Charlie. Why not? But with that said, I am confused because I grew up around Tarrytown, but so some of that rang true, and also we made Zaples, so some of that rang true. So it is really hard for me unless it's me. So there you go.
Okay, so it might be Gina, according to Gina. Well, I don't know. And the bluff does know, but also our tech knows. Isn't that right, Adam?
That's right. And I had to even check back to my notes a couple times to make sure I was right.
And we did our job.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's right. And I'm going to reveal it because I alone know. Alan, I'm going to take you off the stage because you're the host and not an armchair historian. But these 3 are, in fact. And I will ask now... was it Charlie? Could it have been Chris? Or was your bluff tonight Gina? Ladies and gentlemen, your bluff this whole night, this whole time, the person hoodwinking you was Charlie!
Oh my god!
This whole time. There you go,
All
folks.
right. There. I saw you. All right.
that guy.
Well, I hope you, the listener, or you, the viewer on YouTube, have enjoyed our History Bluffs show. And you guys, thank you so much for having just a little bit of fact in all of your stories, including Charlie, who, yes, donut holes do exist, and enjoy them the next time you're at a donut shop. But until then, tune in every week for us here at History Bluffs, and have a good rest of your day.
Good night, everyone. See you soon.